welcome to Seeing Through Glass, and welcome to day 2 of my adventure driving my Ferrari 360 down to Italy. You join me in Italy. If you watched yesterday's video, you will know that I slept last night in Dijon, France, and I woke up this morning and drove about 7.5 hours to get here. But it was all kind of boring motorways I've driven many times before and filmed many times before. So I thought I'd skip that and let you guys join me here for the good stuff. Where is here? Where are we? I'm about an hour south of Modena, the place that this car was named after, the Ferrari 360 Modena. I drove this road earlier this year with Paul Wallace during the launch of the 812 Superfast. I think most of you will know, Ferrari's latest front-engined Super GT. And at that time, I said to Paul, I think it'd be really cool to come back and drive this road in a mid-engine supercar or a mid-engine Ferrari. Little did I know, around 6 months later, I'm doing it in my own Ferrari. What is life? What is life? Now, this car performed absolutely perfectly yesterday, not a single hiccup, but for some reason, this morning I've woken up full of paranoia. Every single knock or sound or smell, and I'm like, what's that? What's that? It's braking. And as I say, it's unwarranted. But I think yesterday was quite a straightforward day. It was sort of 500 miles, a bit of Eurotunnel, and then some pretty straightforward motorway. Today, I feel like I'm starting to push it a little bit. Not in terms of speed, in terms of mileage, because it's another 500 plus miles, which means since I collected this car, I've done 1,500 miles. That's 2 weeks, 1,500 miles in 2 weeks. I doubt many previous owners of this 360 did 1,500 miles in a year. So, yeah, just starting to feel a bit nervous. But, as I say, there's no reason to, because the car is performing fantastically. And I'm so glad that I've popped off the motorway to something a bit narrower and wigglier, because as amazingly surprised I was by how comfy this car is on a long distance trip, and I must tell you how easy it is to drive around the city. Clutch isn't that heavy, gearbox is easy, visibility is great. This, for me, is what this car is all about. This is why Ferraris are so special to me. Now, a lot of you will say no, Ferraris are for posing, but just listen to that soundtrack and tell me that hooning a Ferrari around an Italian countryside road isn't the dream for many petrol heads. Oh, this is so good. And that's the thing, is that I would be intrigued to see what an F1 gearbox, an automatic 360 would be like on these roads, because the thing that's kind of, I guess, taken me back the most about this car is how involving it is, how special it feels to drive and to push. The minute you start going a little bit fast, you get those valves open, you just want to do it again and again and again. And I'm always looking for excuses to find roads like this. Yeah, sometimes doesn't always want to go into second gear, but I'm always looking for excuses to find roads like this. It's like a drug. It's honestly this. This is a drug. It's unreal, and it kind of reminds me of like a Lotus or even the 4C in the way it drives. It's a true sports car. It feels light. It feels nimble. It feels aggressive. It definitely could do some nasty things to you if you don't treat it with respect, but it's just fun. It's just, you can't help but smile. And I'm still not confident enough with the sort of, you know, the balance of this car or the gearbox, etc. But I'm getting there. I'm learning the sort of quirks of it, and that's kind of what this trip was really about, was being able to explore the car and start to push it a bit, not to spend all my days in and around London. And this road is as good as I remember, and I'm driving it in my Ferrari! Oh, big bus. Nearly just crashed my Ferrari. And it's so different to many of the other modern supercars that I drive, because you know, you're not just bashing through gears like a sort of computer game. You've got to think about the gears that you're taking. You've got to think about when you're shifting. And it's a workout. I'm getting hot in here, probably because the car's getting hot again, checking all the various temperature gauges. But I love this thing, and I hope you guys are starting to understand why I chose it. Now, when I collected this car, I let you guys know about a couple of sort of modifications that I wanted to do with it over time. The Challenge Stradale bigger wheels, maybe a Challenge Stradale exhaust, reupholstering the steering wheel and getting rid of that really manky Alcantara with some proper black leather. But there's one other thing that I want to be doing to this car. Now, when I was looking for a 360, I ensured that it was very important that I found a car with very good mechanical history. And I think as the last couple of days, touch wood, have proved, that was an important thing to look for. However, I was aware by hunting a car that had great mechanical history, I was probably going to have to compromise in some other areas. Now, I was really lucky because I found a car which had my dream interior, but that meant the compromise had to come elsewhere. And with this 360, it's on the paintwork. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a lot to do with my OCD rather than an issue with the car. When I first saw the car, I didn't even notice anything was wrong, but as I got closer and I licked it and I smelled it and got overexcited, I started to notice quite a few different sort of paint chips and bumps and knocks, all to do with the paintwork. And it bugged me at the time, so I asked around lots of people, Ferrari HQ, specialist dealers, and also AV Engineering who sourced the car. And everyone was like, firstly, stop overreacting. It doesn't need like a whole body respray or anything like that. It's not that bad. And secondly, if you do want to touch it up, it's something that can be quite easily done and relatively cheaply done. I've seen a lot of you asking about, when are you going to apply PPF to this car? And the reason I haven't done that or talked about that is because I actually plan to respray certain elements, or at least touch up certain elements of this car. So I always knew that with this trip was so perfectly timed because it meant I could take the car in its current shape across Europe, love it, enjoy it, not care too much about stone chips or dead bugs, of which there are 10 million of them on there now, because I know that over the winter I always plan to not only make the sort of slight modifications with the Stradale parts, but also really touch up the paint ready for next year's proper road trip season in sort of April time. Because I think how cool would it be to have like a concourse looking 360, an immaculate 360, which I use all the time. So it's not a major negative, it's a lot to do with my I just want it to be perfect and lovely. But that is why there's no PPF, and that's why some of you, if you see the car in person, will notice a few chips and bits and bobs here and there. But it will all be fixed in time for April and top marks. Anyway, that's a beautiful road. This is an amazing car. I'm going to drive. wish I could just spend all day hooning around these Italian roads. I know, basically, every time I film with this Ferrari, I'm going to say this is a dream come true, but to be in Italy, in this part of Italy, Tuscany, with the sun setting, like all these local like farmers are out, the old women are out, and it's just so completely Italian. And then I'm here in my Ferrari, sport mode on, hooning around. Oh, I'm gonna get emotional, guys. I'm getting the tingles, Anyway, this is a teaser for what I hope next year, maybe at another point this year, has to come with this car. I do want to take it everywhere. I do want to put miles on it. This is not going to be a garage queen. I just want to polish it up. And I'm to a tight schedule with lots of miles this weekend. Otherwise, this is what I would be doing. But hopefully it acts as a teaser for both of us, for you and for me, to sort of encourage me to come and do this more and more with this car, because it's everything I hoped it would be. Anyway, got to go and get my girlfriend, and then I'm headed to Florence. So over the weekend for Finale Mondiale, which is happening at Mugello racetrack, I'm staying in the very beautiful Florence, and then on Sunday I'll be driving back up, and again it's majority motorway miles, but I might see if I can somehow squeeze a bit of a small twisty road into the itinerary somehow. Anyway, to Florence.